Now imagine the situation in 10 or 20 years when an algorithm can tell any teenager exactly where he or she is on the gay-straight spectrum, and even how malleable this position is. The algorithm tracks your eye movements, your blood pressure, your brain activity, and tells you who you are. Exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Those who control the data control the future not just of humanity, but the future of life itself. Because today, data is the most important asset in the world.
Data mining. Data mining of America's kids should be a national scandal. This is from Real Clear Education. I'm going to read a clip here from this article from Real Clear, byline Ezra Nomani and Erica Sanzi, October 27th. On a recent Saturday night, Carolyn Leckwinko, a mother of three, a law student, and the coach to her daughter's cheerleading squad, sat in front of her laptop and tapped three words into an internet search engine: Panorama Survey Results. I'll digress. Panorama, I just talked about it in a recent video. That is a company that was co-founded by Merrick Garland, our current Attorney General's son-in-law. They also partnered with Facebook, presenting conflicts of interest within the government and public schools. And that is the company that this woman, this mother, searched. Within 3 clicks, Leckwinko was in an online dashboard created by Panorama Education, a government contractor hired by school districts to gauge their students' social and emotional learning. However, Panorama digs far deeper than whether students might feel depressed or lonely. I'm going to skip around here. It's just asking questions like gender and sexual orientation and views on racial issues. We don't need that. What do we need that for? I don't need that in school. That had nothing to do with education, and that's off topic. So Leckwinko and her husband, Eric, they were concerned because their school, North Huntington High School, the high school told parents they were sending students a survey, but they opted their sons out. They weren't feeling what they saw of it. But as parents, they're allowed to do that. But unfortunately, their child was given the survey anyway. So they went, and this information is sent out to across 4 state lines to Panorama based in Boston. And last week, Panorama refused to give the Leckwinkos the data the company received on their children. Who owns that data? They opted out of the survey. There's no other recourse other than the court system if they're going to go that route. But you see how vulnerable we are. I'm going to digress. The bigger picture is about data. And thanks for joining. This is Osiris, Stuck in the Middle. We are the product. Before I get into that, I want to make sure it's clear I'm not trying to scare anybody here. Hundreds of years ago, if people knew how we live now, they would be frightened out of their mind. We're fine, right? I know there's a lot going on. It feels like we're getting choked out figuratively and maybe soon literally by different interests. But we're still going to be fine. We find a way. I was chatting with peasant journalist, somebody who I want to interview on this channel. You might see him on this channel at some point. And he was like, what do you think's going on? I really want to know what he's thinking. Sub up to peasant journalist. He's amazing. Just a citizen like myself doing research. And that's pretty dangerous nowadays. You could Google the wrong terms and wind up on a red flag list. Crazy stuff going on. But I told him, in the short term, this only leads to very ugly things. Charlie Kirk was trending on Twitter. That's the type of ugly thing I'm talking about. But long term, I'm white-pilled. We'll be fine. We are the toughest generation to transition because we know the before times. The future generations, they'll have medical passports. You can't stop technology. They'll have medical passports. Their whole life will be linked to technology. The businesses, government will have total control over it. And you know what? They'll be happy. They'll have friends. Even if they're poor, will probably be a lot of serfs. Rich people need serfs, and there'll be more serfdom. Okay, but we'll be fine. Even if we're in the gulags, we'll be fine. People will find a way. We'll make up songs. We'll sing songs in the gulag. We'll eat porridge. That's a worst case scenario. I don't even think it'll get that bad. You can't fight technology. We will be data mined. I just talked about the robots in New York. And now recently on those same robots, not New York, but separate from that, there are people experimenting, putting guns on them just months later. They're going to be walking, talking, and armed before we even know it. I know there are problems. We got Dr. Mengele out here.
See this? See this, Bill? I'm going to kill those prions, you bastard murderers. You're going to hit me with a bioweapon, you monster. You want to suppress me? You want to kill me, you son of a bitch? You goddamn demon? You think I'm easy to kill? Think I'm going to roll over to your crap? No. And Joe Rogan kicked your murdering ass too. You'd love to bury him too, you little monster maggot. He's in this National Geographic piece about, oh, I don't usually deal with my enemies right away. I get them later. Yeah, you creep up on with a poison injection, dressed up in a lab coat, you little Joseph Mengele, Nuremberg Code violating monster.
He's literally funding stuff where they take the vocal cords out of beagles and have their faces eaten alive by sandflies. I know, less than desirable, but we will be fine. That being said, I want to play you a quote from Yuval Noah Harari. He spoke in 2018.
So I want to talk to you today about the future of our species and really the future of life. We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens. Within a century or two, Earth will be dominated by entities that are more different from us than we are different from Neanderthals or from chimpanzees. Because in the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds. These will be the main products of the economy, of the 21st century economy. Not textiles and vehicles and weapons, but bodies and brains and minds.
This has been in the works from 2018 and before. The pandemic's just an opportunity. There would have been a different opportunity. They're seizing the opportunity, in my opinion, to accelerate this transition to data. You becoming a data product. What you eat, what you look at, when you use the bathroom, where you drive to, literally how fast your heart's breathing, how quickly you're breathing, everything will be data mined.
Exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Those who control the data control the future, not just of humanity, but the future of life itself. Because today, data is the most important asset in the world.
This last clip was very pertinent to a battle that Ted Cruz had with a TikTok executive. I believe his title was VP of Head of American Operations of TikTok.
Yes or no question. I want to be precise.
Okay,
I want to be.
Is this company another affiliate as defined in your privacy policy? That is binary. There's not a maybe. It's yes or no.
Senator, the way I answered, I'm not aware that is the answer to the question.
Okay, so you're refusing to answer the question. That does not give this committee any confidence that TikTok is doing anything other than participating in Chinese propaganda and espionage on American
Senator,
children.
that's not accurate.
And basically what it came down to was Ted Cruz wanted him to go down the path of admitting that the data from TikTok can and does go back to China. It's a battle over data. And what Ted Cruz is doing, Ted Cruz is not trying to put that in your hands. He's trying to take that into the U.S. hands. He doesn't want China to have it, where we agree, but Ted Cruz wants the U.S. government, in my opinion, to control that. They aren't fighting to make social media companies let you control your own data. They're not fighting for that. They're fighting for antitrust, and they're fighting for, well, not Ted Cruz, but they're fighting for controlling these companies. They're not giving you the power.
The infotech revolution merges with the biotech revolution. What you get is the ability to hack human beings.
The algorithm is going to get so powerful, it will be able to tell you where you are on the spectrum of any type of preference.
Now imagine the situation in 10 or 20 years when an algorithm can tell any teenager exactly where he or she is on the gay-straight spectrum, and even how malleable this position is. The algorithm tracks your eye movements, your blood pressure, your brain activity, and tells you who you are.
This makes us vulnerable to manipulation, of course.
Once we have algorithms that can understand me better than I understand myself, they could predict my desires, manipulate my emotions, and even take decisions on my behalf. And if we are not careful, the outcome might be the rise of digital dictatorships.
In relation to this, I'm anti-war, but I'm not pro-stupid. This is in regards to Taiwan. There was a great discussion on Twitter about should the U.S. back up Taiwan if China were to invade. Most people in the thread said, no, I don't have an answer. I don't think I have enough information to really give a competent answer on that. But I do know there are consequences. If you say no, you're giving up control of manufacturing of the most advanced chips in the world to China. And the world's going towards data. The world's going towards artificial intelligence. What does that mean then? That means you need to have a plan. If you're not backing up Taiwan, are we going to start building manufacturing here? Do we have the rare earth minerals to do it here without having to go to China? If you don't do that, which could take decades to build up that infrastructure, then you would become subservient to the country that dominates in AI.
But control of data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. And if indeed we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity. This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago.
When I say these people have a God complex, I mean they have a God complex. Let me know what you think. Take care.